Okay. Welcome everybody to this first meeting of Global Voicetech Meetup. My name is Mandar Kulkarni. I'm located in Fremont, California, in the heart of Silicon Valley. And I'm starting this brand new activity to build a community of those who are interested in voice tech, in my opinion, which is going to be a new revolution in coming few years. I'm thankful to you all for joining me, even if we don't know each other. We just know each other maybe through emails or through various Facebook posts. But I'm really glad that people are joining hands together. Now we are already done with 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the agenda quickly of the meeting. And this is the agenda that I wanted to get started with. And as the first part of the agenda, 5 minutes of the welcome have already consumed. Let's get started with the people who are around, and I'm just going to request them one by one to do their introductions. So I'm going to go in alphabetical order, and let's start with Cherian. And I have given some pointers how exactly you need to provide your introduction, just to make sure that we capture the important aspects of you. Okay, Cherian, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for having this kind of a initiative. As you mentioned, it is going to be. I too believe that this is going to be the new revolution coming, on our way. So I'm a software engineer, and as well as I do, project management. That's what I do for my living. And then, we started a small startup called Cliffint, me and my friend. His name is Raj, located in New Jersey. So our intention is to provide, voice-based assistance for, say, nursing homes and other related institutes where people cannot make some requests, like, to support them even during this pandemic. How can we make their life better? So we are in that space. That's what we are doing. And especially the voice flow made a huge difference in when we started, but we are going beyond what we are, with the beyond voice flow, because not everything is available as a single, package. So, but help, getting a lot of help from this amazing community, from each and everything. And, we don't know what we are going to build in the future.
Okay. So you mentioned that you have started your startup. How old is your startup?
We started in the beginning of the year.
Okay. So as I'm trying to understand where people are on their journey, in the pointers that I gave you, I would call it as an intermediate level.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, Cherian. And of course, you didn't mention about your location. So please let us know.
I live in Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona. Okay.
Scottsdale, to be precise.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you. Let's go to Emily. Hi, Emily.
Hi. Here, I'll turn my camera back on. Hang on. I live in Silicon Valley, but I was born in Phoenix. So I'm an Arizona gal. I'm very outdoorsy. I was recruited. I married a German automotive engineer, and when I was living in Arizona, I used to build dune buggies, and that's why he married me. So we got married. He came from Germany, and I learned a lot about automotive. He got hired at Intel. So my first job at 19 years old was working with Andy Grove, who was a founder of Intel, because he wanted his quota, and I was like the only Latina in the company, the only woman. And I had to control my husband, who was like a Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was like a bull in a china closet, would just mow everybody over, but he was a brilliant person. So I spent 5 years at Intel and running an automotive company. We went off and did our own thing for a while. Then he got sick, got cancer, and later I got cancer. So I had been working in Germany, in Munich, as online services manager. And with all the stuff going on with health, I just said, if I get through this, I'm going to go into research, cancer research. So in 2000, I transferred. I got through my chemo and everything. And I realized then that voice was even then important. I had chemo brain. I could not talk. Okay. And I'm a researcher now. I'm certified researcher and regulatory professional. So I do have to talk a lot, but you don't realize how we take voice for granted once you take it away or your brain functions aren't there. And so this has always been in the back of the mind. And then what really clinched it, and why I only work with startups, is Andy Grove, who was my mentor all these years. I didn't even know it was him. He grabbed me in the hall at Stanford when I was in my lab coat carrying my blood tubes around. And he says, you just keep doing what you're doing, because he had pancreatic cancer and Alzheimer's. And he used to kick me out of his office back, in the early days of Intel, when I would come to him with a medical device. Oh no, we can't make any money. The lead times are too long. Send it over to Motorola. And then later now, Intel's investing big time in medical devices. So had we known then what we know now, right? So I'm always ready to learn. I'm always willing to mentor. Right now I'm consulting with a company called Sapient X. They're very big in automotive, that's kind of my roots. But I'm trying to do what you're doing, Caroline, is help those seniors, help people that are going through medical treatments, and also children that, they expect to be able to talk to things and talk back. And my granddaughter, who's 20, she's, beating on my head. You have to sell to millennials. You got to get this voice out there. I hate chat boxes. Don't give me another chat box. And the doctors too, they hate chat boxes. Yeah. So I'm looking for better ways and, hopefully find things for COVID recovery. That's kind of my big launch right now, is COVID recovery.
Okay. Yeah. Have you developed any applications? Do you have any experience in developing voice apps?
Well, what I do is I take O'Reilly classes. Through these years, I have a good relationship with Tim O'Reilly and the gang, and I help them get donors. But I'm taking the Python classes and just enough techies so that I know that techies that I work with can't snow me. and also they call me the Jiminy Cricket. I'm the ethical person, It's like, I'm going to keep you out of an orange jumpsuit, So and even big companies like Google and Facebook, and I call them on the carpet and I have a lot of lawyers that I work with in regulatory, and I remind them about patients' rights and patient data safety. And we have, I can't tell you all the closed door conversations, but the state of California and the Attorney General, we've had serious conversations about companies being too big and not really sharing, basically taking your patient customer data and then using it against the startups that they're trying to fruition. So that's kind of why I want to have a voice with you guys to keep that. We do that in clinical, but I see, when you have these burgeoning industries, you have to protect the little guys because you're the brains. And I'm sure there's a lot of young people here who are even going to come out with better things. And I don't want, we had that instance where our products were bought by Ford and then never brought to market. They killed it. And I hate those. And that's why I don't want that to happen. So, I want to be able to share those stories and share the legal prowess that we have here in California to nurture new companies.
Great. You have a plethora of experience and certainly will benefit out of that.
Yeah, so you can check out Sapient. I'll give you my shameless plug. Sapient, SAPIENTX.com.
SapientX, okay.
And they do voice for automotive, and now I'm trying to get it into other areas.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next is Mujibul Khan. Mujibul, welcome. Go ahead, tell us about the pointers which I'm sharing on the screen.
Okay, hi, good morning, everyone. I'm very new here in this field. Actually, I work for a company called Kyocera International, and I work for their corporate R&D located in Silicon Valley in Sunnyvale, California. So what I work for is actually, I'm a technology scout. I'm looking for partnering with tech companies, small startups or big, doesn't matter, so that we can establish some kind of research collaboration with our R&D team in Japan. So my office is in Plug and Play Tech Center, if you know, in
Yeah,
Sunnyvale. So we have
yeah.
an independent office there, and that's where, I mean, of course, we are all working from home, now, but that's kind of what I do. So I have, my basic background is in telecom. I worked many years in many companies, including Bell Labs. I worked as a professor at university and Nokia, Samsung, and so on and so forth. But anyway, that's now what I'm doing is I'm working in multiple areas, including healthcare, and where the voice tech is very important. So I have been looking at different companies. I am a little bit familiar with what's being applied, in voice area, but not detail in terms of development. I'm more interested in application, an application that could help our R&D community in
Okay.
Japan.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. Looking forward to hearing more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks a lot for joining.
Yeah.
Okay. The next guest is Naresh Joshi. Hi, Naresh.
Yes, hi Mandar, good morning. So, let me just start so sorry for the video quality here, but I'm based in Pune, India. I have 22 years of experience in IT, and I mainly worked in C++, Unix, and banking and financial services sector for the last 20 years. And I'm new to this voice technology. I have worked in voice flow mainly for the last 2 months. And I'm more interested from the point of view of artificial intelligence and machine learning in voice technology.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, the next person on the list seems to be Mr. Scott. Scott,
Good
please go
morning.
ahead. Good
Yep,
morning.
Very well. We'll briefly put on the camera as well. We're all in our work from home uniforms. Especially our 7 a.m. work from home uniforms. Yes.
Right.
So my name is Scott Schwabach, and I work in an area completely different from what most of you are doing. You're talking about voice technology and so forth, but I actually work in languages. So in order to get voice technology to work, you have to train it. And so I work in the translation field. That's where I started 42 years ago, 43 years ago at Microsoft. Worked there for about 20 years or so, and then moved over to localization translation companies. And then I worked with Google running their language quality program for about 6 years. And then I worked with Apple, back to Microsoft on some projects. But for the last year or so, I've been working on language data. So creating the data used to train your language, your voice technology engines. And so much, and not just getting language data to train, but specific language data in that when you talk to voice technology, we have a habit of changing how we speak. We speak because we want the machine to understand us. We don't expect the machine to understand if we just spoke our normal way using our idioms and slangs and so forth. So for the last year, I've been collecting data that really is how people speak. So from inner city slang to people out in the country, deep south, Louisiana bayou, just the different areas of the United States. And actually, I've done this internationally. also in Vietnam and Sweden and Africa, and various nations in Africa, et cetera, in order to make sure that for all this technology that we're creating, that it really does understand people and people don't have to adjust to make it understand them. And it's especially important. I heard a couple of people mention medical voice technology. Medical voice technology is very important, especially if you're using patient data. And yes, there are HIPAA concerns, but we've come up with a way of recreating that data without violating any HIPAA. But taking that data, and I mean, a patient's way of speaking is much different than two medical professionals speaking, for instance. But still, you still have to come up with the same result when that voice engine needs to hear it. So anyway, so that's what I've been doing for the last year. So I help voice technology companies when they need data, and I help create the data. And it can be like I said, anything from medical data to airline data to how pilots speak to one another. Was another project I've done. Banking, insurance is another one, et cetera. So, and then I sit here in Silicon Valley as well. I'm on the other side of the pond. I'm over here in Berkeley.
Oh, Berkeley. Okay. Great. We have great collection of people over here who bring a huge amount of experience from all over the places, and this is, I'm sure this event is going to grow a big way, since it's going to be a community and we are starting just in the beginning. So in the first meeting, instead of talking anything specific, I just wanted to get some logistic clarified with all of yours help, and that is what I wanted to share something. The basic question perhaps you have is, why did I start this? So my let me give you my background. I did not introduce myself much. I'm a IT professional in Silicon Valley. Project program management is my core competency. Currently, I'm working as an agile coach in one of the San Francisco banks. But I'm looking for something new as a part of learning. I had a strong development background long back, which I started forgetting, and I wanted to revive that with something new and long term. And that is how I landed into Voicetech. I have been thinking, working, experimenting about it since last 1 year. But couple of months ago, I started some seed activity under the name Voicetech Labs. And I have started working with some people around here. The whole idea is I'm using right now only voice flow, and I'm only focusing on Alexa, but I realized that there are quite a few other platforms as well. And I thought that learning on my own by experimenting and doing the things on my own is one way, but building a community is the best way in today's world, especially when we are so much connected through various medias. So this is the opportunity for all of us to bring together, create a voice of the user, create a voice of the community who is going to use the voice technology, and few people like Emily who are very strong advocates of using the data in the right way. We should be really able to create our presence and asking the companies to do the right things. And that's the whole objective of coming together and bringing this group. Building global community of those who are interested in voice technology. And I'm not particularly branded with any particular platform, although Alexa being the most dominant player in the market. Right now, my work is with Alexa. I'm trying to understand if there are any good tractions with Google Assistant or even Samsung Bixby, but everything is kind of a little bit farther. And that's why Alexa is my focus. Of course, we want to share our knowledge, experience, and expertise with others who want to grow together, as Emily and Scott have experienced over here. Mujibul also talked about growing together, sharing the expertise, and developing the relations. So any community, whatever are the objectives, this is what we really trying to do. With these objectives, this is what came to my mind when I started this group, but I really want to get your feedback, whether you want to add one or two other pointers which are missed by me over here, because ultimately crowd intelligence is much larger and much better than individual person. So please let me know if you want to say or add something over here. Anyone?
So Mandar, this is Cherian. What
Yes.
you brought is a great point. Like, crowd intelligence is the best than what a single person can do.
Mhm.
And you're also right, like, most of us are focusing on the Alexa, but there are platforms out there, right?
Mhm.
If we wanted to make this into a big leap and make it to the next level,
Hmm.
we need to cater for all the platforms. Right
Sure.
now, we are kind of, like, see why um, Alexa is growing great, not just because Alexa is great, because they
Hmm.
have a proper documentation and support. If I have a
Hmm.
problem, I can go. What I'm
Mhm.
challenged with is with Google is I really have no clue how to start, how to get into the right place. And when I'm
Hmm.
stuck with certain things like, um, um, if I wanted to know what's a device, what's a location, how do I know all these things? It's becoming a challenge because they have a poor documentation. Now,
Hmm.
the next thing is like say Siri. Apple Watch and Siri is going to come in a big way because
Hmm.
they already built the kind of capability where they
Hmm.
could even understand your, vitals. That means it makes a huge difference to the next level, right?
Yeah.
But they are challenged with when you consider the cost. That is what Apple is challenged with. Like it is not possible for you to get it into a rural village and
Hmm.
where we can implement it in a country,
Hmm.
maybe like India or anything in, we cannot afford to have this one. So we need
Hmm.
to see how effectively we can bring it. What I've seen is a shift happen very recently between Amazon and Microsoft. Now we have Alexa for PC available. If
Hmm.
the other platforms are coming like this, so immediately Alexa for PC, it brought billions of new devices suddenly made available for the people so that they don't need to invest much on this. So we
Hmm.
need to, as a community, I know that people worked in the Google, Microsoft, Intel, all these places to create a kind of voice like these companies to recognize that this is something critical. They need to do something together and come out with a common platform so that we could talk each other. Like it is now I'm dependent on say, Alexa won't talk to uh, you know, say Google. Google won't talk to the other guy. But
Hmm.
in
Google LLC is
oh,
an American
oh,
multinational technology
it's like
company that
Alexa,
specializes in
stop it. See, then when we talk, they will do it. So I think if internet was created, if it was like every other company, it would have been a disaster, right? So
Hmm.
how do we raise this as a community to raise this, as a concern so that these devices can talk each other, right? Create a
Right.
common platform. Maybe the government need to come out with some standard, say that, you know what, if you have a device, we need to talk each other, right? You need to create at least a common platform so that we can do it, so that worldwide we are putting a new platform which is accessible no matter what you have, right? That's
Hmm.
what is, I think, what is missing.
Okay.
So let's do a couple of clarifying things here. One of the things is that with Amazon is with Alexa, because they sell it as a platform. Apple doesn't sell Siri, right? I mean, it's a big difference there. The other thing is that you know, Amazon is working to try to become the Google of voice, right? With Corpus, with millions and millions and millions of strings of data to train those engines and so forth, of which Bixby, you know, that's not Samsung's biggest thing. Microsoft has Cortana. They kind of flip flop on that one. You know, and then you have Hey Google, which is now just starting it. But then, you know, that's just in the United States. If you go to other countries, if you go to Asia, for instance, Line, which is, you know, for most people is a messaging app, but Line in Korea has created a humongous voice data engine that's being used there as well. There's another one in Russia for a large voice data engine. So there are numerous ones all over the world, and you are correct. Everyone's on a race for their own. They try to keep their own secret sauce, and not come up with a global standard. I mean, there is a global conference every year for voice that happens. This year was in July. It was virtual. Usually it happens in New Jersey every year, right next to Audible. Again, an Amazon product that discusses all of these kinds of things as well. But yeah, I mean, Amazon does have the overlying share of all of this. That's for sure.
Sure. Okay. Great inputs. We'll keep on refining these objectives, but I have taken some notes and I will try to propose the wording for what objectives we can add over here. But I'm really appreciate you guys providing much broader, much larger perspective. And absolutely, I cannot agree more with Cherian that we need to create something as a worldwide standard for all interoperability, interconnectivity between various platforms. Thank you so much, Cherian. With that, let us move to a little bit more logistics. Going forward, this is how I propose a format for this event. My idea is I'm going to propose this as a monthly event, first Wednesday of every month. That is what my idea is. And why I have selected that, because that is the free time available on my calendar and I can sustainably do it. That's why. There is no other reason. And I don't want to stretch it more than 1 hour because everybody is busy and still people want to connect. So let's try to strike the balance. And this is the typical agenda. Of course, this is suggested agenda. There is nothing hard and fast about it, but that is what I would really like to take out of this meeting going forward. We'll try to invite some speaker or presenter who will take majority of the time. So 20 minutes of presentation, 30 minutes and question and answer is the core part of this meeting. And then I really want to add 2 points I can help and I want to share. People like Emily, people like Scott can definitely work in I can help and they answer the tips, tricks, suggestions. Cherian can provide answers to questions. And I want to share is naturally something new we have heard about, some new experiences, some new learnings, whatever. So I really want to make everybody participate wholeheartedly with maximum possible contributions. And that is how I have proposed the agenda. But like I said, crowdsourcing is the most important factor I want to bank on. And I would like to open the floor to somebody else, others to talk about if they have any feedback. Scott has shared a voice AI link, and everybody can check it in the chat.
This is a global summit. Amazon is the big diamond sponsor for this one as well. And it goes on for the next 10 days, actually.
Yeah. So right now, this
are they
voice...
doing?
Sorry, go ahead, Cherian.
No, are they right now doing something? Means there's a hackathon going on. Is there any specific objective for this?
The summit?
Area, yeah.
Oh, no, it's a virtual summit. Like I said, usually they hold these things once or twice a year. This one, they usually hold it, as I said, in New Jersey. They usually hold a smaller one in Vegas. As you know, everybody is working from home, so nobody's really going to go to Vegas to do this. It is a 5-day conference, just like any other conference you would go to. You can go check out the link on the website. It'll tell you more about it. It's a free registration. You can ask some of those questions. For instance, how do you get Google to help you out more? They are also a keynote sponsor. So yeah, it's quite intense over the next few days.
Yeah, I've
It
been
actually
attending.
started a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank
I
you.
was
Thank you
there
for
last
sharing
2
that,
days.
Scott.
Yesterday there was a great presentation by Amazon people about APL for audio and of course the new video related application that they are bringing and all that. It's a great event that I'm attending, and basic attendance is free. That makes it much more attractive, and I'm planning to attend it even today.
So
Coming
what
back,
time it is, like the whole day, or it is?
yeah, it's going from the Pacific time. It almost goes up to lunchtime because all the timings are according to Eastern time. So I can forward you a link once the class is over, once this lecture is over, and then you can register and start attending it. It's very, very interactive and very, very useful.
Excellent.
Coming back to the proposed format, do you guys think we can make it better or add anything more in the proposed format? Do you guys have any suggestions of people who can come as a presenter for our next meeting or next few meetings? Because even if we want them to come, everybody's time and availability, everything matters. So if you have got any suggestions of names, please send me the contacts and I will start following up with them. But right now, if you have any suggestions for making any changes to this format, how we are going to go, please let me know.
This is Emily. I just want to make one comment. I don't know if last night you guys saw a sci-fi show called Next about artificial intelligence gone wrong.
Okay.
And you know, we live in scary enough times. We're already on the coronavirus roller coaster. But
yeah.
I fought this a lot in healthcare. Early on at Stanford, I was working with stem cells. And there was a lot of bad press about stem cells. And all we were doing was taking people's own stem cells, boosting their T cells so that they would not get mantle cell lymphoma, a blood cancer. There's no tumors. It's in the blood. It comes from the bone marrow. And there was all these horror stories. And we had to fight almost a PR campaign. Just even though we had the funding, even though we had the patients, I mean, we were getting bombarded and, you know, snarky doctors saying, you can't do this in the US. So my feeling is that sometimes they want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. So this kind of bad press and other maybe new sci-fi movies, we just say, hey, we are here for the good. We're protecting you so that we don't get there. That's a what if scenario, right? So if we do this right. So, and I don't tweet, since I work in healthcare and regulatory, I don't believe in Twitter because to me, it's just a lot of noise and time where I can focus on something else. I focus on producing articles or use cases. Even when I worked with Microsoft, we did a lot of vaporware when we were doing web. When I worked for Siemens, just to get people to understand what a website was, you know, and I was in Germany. I couldn't do it in the US, so I had to go to Germany to create websites. I fought this PR battle. You know, I said in the OSI layer, there's a financial and a political layer. So I just want to put that as a secondary thing is the perception, okay, acceptance, trust, okay. And I think that that's important that we put that in the objectives that I'll even try and help write some articles or add those comments to any technology gems that you folks have so that it's a little more palatable, if I may. I can contribute in that way.
Okay.
It's just,
Great.
you
Thanks,
know,
Emily.
I have one suggestion is,
Sure.
I know once in a month, I think it is good to have this 1 hour. And if
Yeah.
we have some, speaker from, something which is really useful for the team, I think that's great. But I think there should be level of communication between the teams. So we might be able to, if everybody agree, on some platform where we can exchange, and so that if I see something, okay, I want to talk to Emily on certain things where we should be able to communicate and contact each other. Something like that would make a huge difference, right?
Yeah,
So
it's
maybe
coming
a
up,
WhatsApp group
Cherian.
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's coming up. Just give a couple more minutes and we'll be talking about
Okay.
that.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
And for me, one of the things is, if you would have noticed, I'm looking at Tuesdays are one of the crazy days for me. That's what is my recommendation. Okay, it depends everybody, but Tuesdays typically end up with a lot of sprint planning, a lot of such activities, will be there. But yeah, any other. But we are in Wednesday. Why am I talking about Tuesday? I don't know.
That happens, Cherian. That's okay. Let's move on to the next part. I think these are the great suggestions. What I'm really trying to understand is these are the same points that we want to know our choices about the meeting time and the communication. That's what Cherian was mentioning, and how what kind of role you are going to play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch 3 polls here on the Zoom, and then perhaps you can respond to that so that we can collect the data. And with that, I'm going to start this poll first. Yeah. Please go ahead and
Hello? Oh,
yeah.
okay. Quiet. I thought I lost you.
No, I'm waiting for people to. Okay, all 5 have responded. Somebody wants it to be late and somebody wants it to be early. Can those people speak a little bit?
Well, this is Emily. I work, as I said, in regulatory, and in order to really communicate with folks in the EU and in my Russian friends, and maybe folks from India, the early time, we're in California, so we're kind of, thank God we're not in Hawaii, but I just find you don't get people to show up if you make it late, or you get the same old Silicon Valley people, so I like to act local, think global. And in order to accommodate folks, and I'm going to, with your permission, I'll give you some names of people from Europe that I want to invite that are working on things. And so that's my only thing. I know it's a pain, but thank God you don't work for doctors. If you worked with oncologists, we'd be having breakfast meetings at 5:30 in the morning because they start their sessions for surgery at 6.
Okay.
So if we want to have doctors, they are early birds. So that's my only pitch. We could occasionally have a late meeting, if we have to accommodate a speaker and record a session and then share it that way. But if you really want to have active and global keys, and then when I do Asia Pacific, I generally have those late in my time, but it's the next day, early their day, so that's my only thing. The Australians and the New Zealanders are very sharp, and of course, they're always into tech. So I love those guys.
Right. So right now I selected 7 o'clock because India is 7:30, and next month onwards 7 o'clock our time will be India's 8:30 in the night. But I believe that time will still, what in my opinion was good for the European people, because it will be around 5:30 in the evening or something like that. You want to start a little earlier than 7 o'clock? That is what you are recommending, Emily?
Only if we really had to, I think 7 is fine with me. But like I said, when you work at Stanford, you go when they tell you, you know, and we used to go in, but now we do everything online. And it's not unusual in healthcare to have a 5:30, 6 a.m. conference.
Okay. Okay. Great. Good pointers. So 3 people have liked the time. So we'll continue for a few days and then change that. The next one, yeah. I'm sharing the result with you, and then you have seen that. I want to launch the next poll. Yeah. How do you want to communicate? How do you want to prefer to keep in touch with others? And there are quite a few options I have proposed over here.
I don't see my option on there.
What is your option?
I like Slack. I like Slack channels.
Okay. Is Slack, I have used Slack, but I don't know whether it's a paid or free.
It's free.
So it's free?
It's
Okay.
free.
Yeah, I use Slack also, but I'm easy. I'll do any of the above.
Well, just
Okay.
you know, again, because I work in this global world, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I have all of these different communication ways because my clients all communicate differently. But Slack, I can stack them all in one app, so it makes it really
Right.
nice. So yeah, so to create a Slack channel, it's free. You can send out invites, etc., call whatever you'd like. But it's an easy way to organize things as well because you can have subgroups right in your Slack
Mm-hmm.
channel. So anyway, that would be my preference.
Okay. Okay.
But I will vote though. There we go.
Okay. 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 Great. That's a good suggestion. Since my exposure to Slack is little limited, so I did not include it, but that's a good pointer. I know that Slack is pretty popular. So let us think about that as another option. Perhaps that is the most modern and kind of up-to-date way of communicating within the team.
Yeah, I mean,
And
Slack has kind of become Slack and Zoom seem to have become the go-tos during the pandemic.
go to, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a majority of my large global clients are also shifting to Slack as well. So and I don't work for them and I don't own stock. But yeah.
And it's free.
and again, it's free. But like I said, it's so well organized compared to like Slack channels or Skype, which just drives me crazy. Or I mean, you know, and some of the other ones. So yeah, it's I can have all my clients in one box. It's great, and they're all different. You'll see. You'll like it.
Okay. So generally out of 5, we have got 2 votes each for WhatsApp group or email group, or anything is okay, but Slack was not here. So I'm considering that. So we'll finalize that on shortly. Thank you. And the last one is your role. What kind of role would you like to play in this group?
You know what I mean? For me, I guess, yeah, I'll speak up. For me, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, so you know, I have no problem helping out however needs. So
Okay. Okay.
can we select more than one?
Yeah. You can
There we
select
go.
more
Look
than
at
one,
that.
multiple choice. Yeah.
Look at that. Okay.
Okay. So there are 2 people who have said that you want to actively participate. Scott has already spoken up. Who is the another person who wants to help in organizing? Because I certainly need some help.
Well, this is Emily. As I generally make a pretty good scribe,
Okay.
you know, taking notes and helping. I like to schedule meetings. I work with ACRP, the Association of Clinical Research Professionals, which are basically nurses and doctors. And we have to put our schedule out, you know, for the whole year almost in order to, so we have milestones, you know, Or
Right.
if we have a voice AI conference that you know everybody's going to go to, you don't want to have the same time that there's like a big unveiling on that. So I kind of, you know, try and do a schedule, and then if we have to modify the schedule, someone has to make those notices. So I'd like to help be your virtual assistant and logistics.
Scheduler. Awesome.
And also, I don't like meetings without agendas, you know. I mean,
Right.
I love to see your smiling faces, but, you know, some of these meetups and even some of the old forums, it's like, well, why are we here? You know, and it's
Right.
just a sales pitch and not really a learning
Right.
or a
Sure.
forum to advance. So I like to keep the agendas meaningful. If we do have product pitches, I like to have them at the end. You know,
Yes.
if you want to stay, if you're not tied to something and you want to hear a product pitch, or you want to join for a beta test and just talk techie, you know, you don't need 300 people just that aren't techies to attend also. So that's kind of logistical wise how I would like to work with you guys, if that's possible.
So I also want to chime in on that non-salesy thing, because I also run a global conference for languages, and we don't allow sales pitches during the conference.
Right.
You know, if that's the only reason somebody's attending is to pitch, then it's not a sharing of ideas.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, that would just drive me nuts. I don't pitch my own company. I don't want to hear somebody else pitching theirs either. I mean, hearing about new developments and products and so forth is great, but yeah, please don't sell me.
Great. And the 3 people who have offered to be mentors, I would like to know their names as well, because I don't see them here.
Oh, well, that's Emily. And again, I don't know where voice regulatory is, but we do have a lot of HIPAA and also California patient rights, you know, privacy rights. So I try and keep up on that. For the IoT forums, I am asked and I help them, you know, just put a list of links, things to check out, or what the EU is doing. You know, they're very big on data rights too. So I share those articles. So that's kind of how I can mentor. And then, you know, just kind of being a cheerleader. I like to, you know, help people look good when they do their presentations. I can do those queries, you know, preset questions.
Right. Who else has opted for being a mentor?
That was also me.
Okay. Scott.
Our guest there, right? And as you all know, like I said, I mean, I can help with voice data. I can help you figure out how you get HIPAA data without violating HIPAA. I actually have a very unique approach to that one. So and other types of specific kind of data to help train these engines and so forth.
May I comment? That to me is a big interest, and if it's of interest to others, maybe we could do one session around that topic and just kind of focus on that. Because my feeling is, if it's like if you're working with young people who don't know or don't want or looking at ways getting around it, but there are ways you can do it if you do identify. So Scott, with your permission, let's think about maybe you and I putting an agenda, some topics, and I'll help you, you know, formulate that so it would be good for others to as a foundation.
Great. I'm so glad that this organically we are coming out with ideas for presentations and topics. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Emily. Who was the third person who offered to be a mentor?
Yeah, this Cherian, I mentioned that, but I don't have any specific area where I can mentor. But I know, like, anytime when people go through stuff and they want to talk, they want to get it rolling. I think I have a pretty good, you know, thing in, you know, helping people to come out of their thing. So, you know, and also I'm looking forward to like Scott's and Emily's leadership, especially the area where I'm working. I need to know, this is one of the scary area, the HIPAA thing, where we as a company, we are dealing with that, right? So we really need to become bold so that, you know, we can proudly say, you know what, the product or services what we are offering is HIPAA compliant, and that helps a lot of people to create amazing applications in this space. Because we one or two cannot do it for the whole world because we are dealing with this pandemic, and
Yeah.
this is like a blue ocean, not like the space is free. It's like a blue ocean. That much is there. So everybody, we need to inspire a lot of people to get into this game so that this become a real voice. Yeah. More
Thank you. Thank
competition,
you, Sherry.
more business and
Yeah,
opportunity.
absolutely. Okay, so this is what my agenda was, and I really appreciate everybody wholeheartedly participating. We have last 4 minutes. If anybody has got any question or any topic that we want to cover in last 4 minutes before we depart for the day, I would really welcome that. But want to thank you all for being here, and we'll meet again next month. And I will send you an email, and I'll send you meeting invite as well. But please spread the word in your circles who can attend, who can benefit, and who can help others. We are all new. We want to grow together, and without community support, it's impossible. So let's pitch in as much as we can.
Thank you for doing this initiative, Mandar. This is really amazing. And thanks everyone for their participation. And this is great. It's a great
Thank
start.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, and we'll try and get some more ladies in here too.
Absolutely. Yes. We need
All
This
right.
is the year of the woman, you know. I mean, we're trying to
Yeah.
resurrect this. I've been fighting this since the 70s, you know. When I was at Intel, I was like the token woman.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
It's really kind of
Alright.
funny because in my world, it's more women heavy. So I was the token male. See, so
So you understand what I'm saying? Yes, and
Oh, yeah,
and
no,
people
no.
don't
Yep.
realize that. Yeah.
Yep. All righty. Thanks a lot, folks.
Thanks,
Thank
Right.
everyone.
Mujibul,
Bye.
I didn't hear you after your introduction. Would you like to chime in before you leave?
Okay.
Mujibul?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't hear you after your first introduction. Do you want to chime in about anything? How did you find the group? Whatever is your feedback, reactions, how would you like to take this further?
I think the first meeting is great. I look forward to the next meeting just so that things get gelled. As I say that I have been in the listening mode, and so this is all exciting. Let's keep going. This is a good start.
Great. And the last person which did not speak much was Naresh. Naresh, do you have any ideas to share here? Any thoughts?
Yes, Mandar, yeah, this is a good initiative, and I think I'm the only person from India. So, from Indian perspective, I'm thinking about all these initiatives.
Right, right. We will start inviting more people. I know few people from the voice flow community who are from India. Let's try to expand that group, but spread the word, as I said. Again, thanks everybody for joining here. Really appreciate, and we'll meet next month again. Thank you
Thank
and
you.
have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.